So there have been a lot of videos lately claiming that Asian men can date, and I really want to tackle this issue from a little bit of a different perspective. I don't think they can't date. They can date just fine. It is just a little bit easier for them with their own culture, and it doesn't really focus only on Asian. It focuses like on men in general. And the big question is, why is it that a lot of Asian girls would date white men, but not a lot of Asian men would date white women? Okay, so why this happens is women a lot of the times are, well, they're socially very intelligent, and you know, they're socially maybe a little bit quicker than most men are. What I mean by that is, okay, let's, for example, how men socialize, right? They would play soccer for about an hour, and after that they would talk about the game for 5-10 minutes, and that's it. There goes the socializing most of the times, right? But women, they will particularly go out to lunch with their girlfriends and talk about each other's boyfriends for an hour or two. So that helps them to be more, because they're more expressive, it helps them to be more adaptable in different cultures. Another difference is women, they don't have to approach. Traditionally, a guy will come up to them and start a conversation and on from there. Men, on the other hand, they have to approach her with a conversation, you know, have to engage her in some way, you know, say something interesting, and it's a little bit harder to do. And it's a little bit harder to do, especially if you're outside your own culture and outside of your comfort zone. I don't think that Oriental men are shy. It's just different for people in different surroundings in general, because people are always a little bit scared of the unknown, you know, and they're not sure how to approach something that is unknown. But the difference is, guys that are local, let's say white guys in America, or Asian men that been born in America, you know, or lived for so long, it's different because they feel like it's more of their surroundings, it's more of their territory, so it's a lot easier for them. They don't have to be shy about it. And another thing to mention is that there are just subtle cultural differences that must be taken into account. Like, for example, Europeans, when they greet each other, you know, a lot of the times they kiss, you know. Americans, when they greet each other, a lot of the times they hug. Asians, they are not supposed to touch, right? Especially like with women, they think it's disrespectful. And there are minor differences as such that make that transition a little bit more difficult. Another thing I want to mention is height. So there was a girl, I forgot her name on YouTube, who mentioned, she's like, well, you know, we don't like to date Asian guys because, you know, they're not very tall. I want to address that. There was a very interesting study done by Cambridge University. So they had a man walk into different classrooms with different students, and they introduced this man. Let's say in the first classroom he was introduced as a student, in a second classroom he was introduced as an assistant, then as a presenter, and then as a professor. After he left each room, people were asked to evaluate his height, and with each increase in status, his height went up about half an inch. So as a student, he was seen as 2.5 inches shorter than he was seen as a professor. So it all has to do with people's perceptions, people's view of you, how you present yourself. It doesn't really, you know, it doesn't really matter if you're really comfortable with what you are, and you know, you can show yourself in that way, you know, that it wouldn't make a difference. Such a thing, you know, like you have to really embrace what you are and work with that, you know, and really be comfortable with it and be like, you know what, yeah, I look like this, and you know, I'm hot, and people will respect you for that. So to sum it up, I don't think that Asian guys are shy. I think they can date just like anybody else, and I can't believe some people would even try to make that argument. I think it is just harder for men in general across all cultures to date outside of their comfort zone, and you know, it takes a little bit of adjusting. And I forgot. Oh yeah, and I also think it's easier for younger generations than it is for older generations to adapt. One thing I want to mention before I wrap this up, I do appreciate valid arguments, so please do comment. However, please restrain yourself from profanity or hateful comments. Thanks.